Hi, I'm Brandy Altman with Post Perspective. We're here with Bill, who is Senior Colorist at Company 3 Toronto. Bill, welcome.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Yeah, so I see that you are at home right now in your home studio. So why don't we jump off on that topic? What was it like transitioning to working from home?
Yeah, it was a smooth transition outside of the fact that our technicians had to work on getting secure feeds here. That was, I think, part of the biggest hurdle. We had the gear. We just moved the gear here. I've got a computer on this end that's in sync with the computer at the office, and they talk to each other. And once they figured out a secure method to do that, it was pretty smooth. Like I've been very comfortable in terms of how the gear has reacted, how I was worried about delays and things like that and it not responding the same way, but there's been no problems. It's been a very smooth transition.
Can you also talk about some of the tools that you're using, what monitor you're using, and also calibrating that monitor?
Of course, yes. Well, the color corrector I'm using is a DaVinci Resolve. I've been at Company 3. It was prior it was Deluxe, so I've been with them for 4 years, and I've been on that system for the entire time. And I love the system. I've been on it prior to that as well. I've also been on other systems that I have not liked so much, so it was nice getting back on the Resolve. The monitor is Next 300, and yes, it's calibrated. Of course, and that is part of the challenges that we face in this environment where people are working from home, is making sure that the people on both ends are seeing the same image. So we have been one alternative is we set up a monitor. We've chosen an LG OLED. I think it might be a 55-inch. Not sure, but basically we have our technicians calibrate that monitor, and that's more of on a consumer end monitor. It's not like the X300, but we calibrate it and then we put that monitor beside the X300, and I look at it and we talk about it, and if we need to make any further adjustments, we do. So I've seen that monitor beside the professional monitor, and I've been blown away. But I'm talking to my wife that we have to get one here. So planting the seed, but it's worked out very well like that. And then we have the confidence after we've calibrated it, we ship it to the client, and we have the confidence that we're seeing the same thing. And there are other methods that we've done using iPads, for example, depending on locations and availabilities. But I think that is always being one of the things that has been on our radar whenever we're doing remote grading, is that both parties are seeing the same thing. And so far it's been very, very good.
Can you talk about the shows that you're working on, at least mention titles for us?
Sure. So one is called Awake, and it is for Netflix. I can't really speak too much about the show itself, but interestingly, that show we had started at the office. But once we got the home set up, the studio home set up, we were able to pick up that project and finish it at home. And then at the very end, we went in for a final screening. We weren't physically in the same room, but they were in one room, I was in another room, but we were seeing the same feeds and they were calibrated. And so that went very, very smooth. Another one, Night Raiders, is a film that I did completely at home in the beginning, and then for the tail end of it, this was actually a film not for TV but for the theater. So we went into a DI suite, and same scenario. They were in one room, I was in another room. We had an open intercom. We discussed back and forth and made adjustments from there. But I think we're all, in both of those situations, we were pleased with what we saw here and what we saw there. So it was a very, you hope that sort of thing is going to happen in this kind of situation, and it was good. And there was a music video in there that I worked on. the remote grading isn't a new thing, as you know. It's just doing it from home is a new thing. So we've had some experience in the past, and this particular client I work with, director in LA, we've worked like this before for music videos and other shows. So we were used to working, setting up looks, setting them down, labeling them. He gives me feedback, and we move on together like that.
Very cool. I think that maybe we've got a few more months of working this way ahead of us.
Yeah.
What are you seeing in terms of technology trends? Anything exciting coming up? Anything you'd like to see in terms of color technology?
Well, I'm very happy with where the technology is right now. I think one thing that I'm always looking to do is get more performance out of the gear. One show I just finished working on about 6 months ago now is called Altered Carbon, and it's a Netflix show, and we used a lot of plugins for that show. So we did a lot of sort of VFX type work, and I would have possibly 6 different nodes with different plugins on it. And after you put those plugins on one shot, you know, one's doing this, the other one's doing that, it can slow the system down. So I you know, that's something that I'm constantly trying to do, is to keep the gear up to a high performance. And I think that's one of the things I'm really trying to push.
Great. Well, Bill, thank you for taking the time. I really appreciate it. Is there anything I haven't asked that you feel is important?
Well, I do think that this is something that can continue on beyond the pandemic. I think that most people are finding it to be a very good experience. I think the creativity is still up there. I don't think that the creativity is suffering at all. So, and that was one of the things that I was also worried about. But again, with our prior experience with remote grading and with things like Zoom, where we see each other and we converse, you still get the feeling, you can still get emotion from the other people and how they're feeling about images and things like that. So, you know, it's been a very positive thing. I hope it continues in some form beyond this. Maybe at the cottage, I'm thinking.
That sounds actually really nice.
Yeah.
Bill, thanks for taking the time. I appreciate it, and I'm sure we'll check in soon.
Pleasure. Thank you very much.